None of it is going to satisfy you except you getting in contact and having conversation, intimate conversation with the deepest part of yourself, learning who you are. You are the most fascinating subject you will ever study. Paula, that sounded like vanity. Is it vanity? I don't know. God said he was a jealous God. So, he, and not the word he. See, we say he, but he is 8 and 5. It's a 13. It's a death of that idea that it's a he. He, she, child. He, she, third. He, she, child, and beyond that. Whatever that is. But we have the ability to get in contact with the essence of who we are. And that's the only thing that will ever bring us lasting joy and bliss. It's beyond joy, it's bliss. As I say on so many other shows, it's orgasmic. I mean, it's truly, truly, truly beyond any kind of words that I could even put up there and dissect. You know, a lot of times we fall down. And when I say we fall down into those pits of despair, saying, I should have done more than what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not being productive. This person's so much further along than me. Why do I have all these things and nothing has come from it? Or, you know, this girl got that guy and he left me for her, and somebody stole all of my money, he emptied it out the bank account. All of these things, that is your ego, remember? Designed to annihilate you, in operation. But these events that are occurring was motivated by that divine force that was in you, using the personality to drive you here to find out what is the real thing that's going on. It ain't the stealing of the money. It's not the fact that you think that you haven't done enough, or you're not being recognized, or you don't have the job you want, or the money you make, or the sex you want, or somebody divorced you, or they're on top of it. You know, it's like the tree. The flowers are the last thing. They're the beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. They're most delicate, but it's the last thing. Those flowers wouldn't be there if it were not for the roots. The roots, well, technically, the soil that feeds the roots. Go further than that, the rain and the sunshine that feed the roots. See, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's what I'm talking about. There is something within you, the kingdom, Jesus says, it's the kingdom, is within you that generates everything that you do, everything that you say, and everything that you have. And when you get something and it doesn't look like that it worked out for you, whether that's a relationship, a job, or, you know, even if you were competing in sports and you didn't win the whatever it was supposed to be, or the dance contest. Okay, so that event happened, no doubt. It happened and it hurt, but there's going to be no suffering attached to it unless you linger there. On another show, I talked about the wind not lingering. You know, we're not lingering in this life. We're moving through it. And we've got a lot of things to do and a lot of places to go and a lot of people to see while we're here. And we cannot linger and waste our energy, if you would, on what do I think that she thought about me? Or what did he mean when he said that to me? Those are inconsequentials, and they are energy vampires, if you will. They really are. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a tree, and how can the word tree, you know, possibly relay to you what it encompasses. The moon and the mother. The mother is everything in our life. We identify, associate, and relate to our mother, dead or alive. No matter if we've ever seen her or not, we are intricately connected to her. But not just this mother. We're connected to her mother, and her mother, and her mother, all the way down for eons of time. So when I was saying all of those things that you've heard while you've been alive and went to first grade, second grade, whether you liked your teacher, didn't like your teacher, whether you got overlooked for school one day because you didn't get snack, or your mother left you sitting on the porch or the stoop for school. Okay, that happened in this lifetime, and you can't even recall them. You can't even recall what you said at 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon or where you were at. So the idea that you could even bring this to remembrance is ludicrous. But it's her mother and her mother and her mother and all of those. And her mother, and her mother and her mother and her mother way down here got with somebody who also, see, now I'm going to bring in the father. The father had his own set of problems, and he had a mother, and he had a father, and he had his childhood, and he saw and did and said and was denied and was all of those things. I mean, it just goes on. That tree that I'm talking about with those roots, they go far and wide, and they all come into you. To you. So how many personalities do you think you have? How is it possible that you think that you can call yourself one something? Not possible. Not possible. And the fact that you're trying, if you're trying to be someone else, like all this fame and fortune and all this celebrity stuff, and you want to have this shoe and this clothes and that stuff, you're trying to emulate, you're trying to imitate, you're a God-blessed phony. And there's nothing more disgusting than a phony. Can't you have an authentic experience? I was going to say thought. I don't think you can have an authentic thought because there's so much that influences you. And you've been conditioned, and you're on automatic rote. You're on automatic pilot doing what you do. But can you become conscious that you desire an authentic experience? When you do, when you just acknowledge that, okay, I'm ready for the authenticity to reveal itself in me. That's all you got to, say, be, do, indicate. It'll begin to happen. But it's a gradual process. It does not happen overnight because you are so addicted to yourself. You are so addicted to your drama. You are so addicted to the way you think, and you are so addicted to what you consider your family or your children or your car, all of these things that are none of them yours. How dare you say they're yours? Because you can't keep any of them. You have no control whatsoever to keep any of them. Yourself first. Again, it goes back, how are you going to outrun death? Let him sit right up here and remind you. You have no control. So the idea that you even say those blasphemous words, that this is my account, my clothes, my car, my house, it just shows how very, very unhappy you are, and how disillusioned you are, and how you are placing importance in the things that are on the outside of you, and you absolutely believe that you are this body. You believe it. And you're right. You can go right ahead from now until the last time you draw breath, believing that you are this body. And as long as you remain with those thoughts that you are, first of all, as long as you believe the thoughts that you're the body, you're going to remain miserable, unsatisfied, unhappy, and always in a hurry. Always in a hurry, thinking you're going to be late, thinking you got to be somewhere, thinking you don't have enough time to do things, thinking that somebody or someone is overlooking you or leaving you out of the conversation or not telling you everything that you need to know. Or you'll be busy doing all those things, trying to keep things from people, trying to keep secrets, try to manipulate situations, circumstances, and events so that it is more conducive to you. You self-centered, self-indulged, and self-absorbed creature that you are. But the moment that you realize that there are keys to the kingdom that you can get to unlock this treasure house, this store warehouse, this gigantic flowering tree, this In the Kabbalah, they have a tree, and it starts with Keter and it ends with Malkuth. And it shows, different expressions of that which is the sacred Godhead. But Godhead, when I use that word, I'm beyond that. Like I say, don't stop with that word, God. What is that anyway? I've never done that. Let me do it, Mitzi. Just see what that is. So we got 7, of course, 6 and 4. So we got 6. That's Tepereth. That's love too. It's also conflict. Love, conflict. Okay. So all of that is in, and it's 11. 17. So it's the star. That brings on more talk. We are a star in the galaxy. And we are not to interfere in any else God. God's in the making. God's, if you can't take the fact that Jesus said we're God's, God's in the making. And we're a star in our own orbit. In our own orbit. And we do not have the right, nor is it built into our DNA to be able to govern, lead, instruct, guide, direct another soul. Did you hear me? And I mean that from the bottom of these toes. We don't have that right. We cannot do it. And we spend our lives doing that. We spend our lives, especially if we've been mothers, we think we've got the answers to tell our children what they need to do, what they shouldn't do, how to go to school, do this, do that, perform this way, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. Taking away the best part they have of themselves, the ability to think from their gut, think from their instinct. If you're going to tell them anything, tell them to go inside, ask themselves, get the answers from within themselves. Test all the spirits, doubt everything, every single solitary thing. Don't take anything, especially from you or me, that's saying it, because everything is fleeing and floating and everything dissolves. Okay, let's see what we're going to do now. We're going to take some of this, we're going to go in this box. We're going to go in this box. Let's see, I think we are. We're going to go in the box, Let's see, we're going to go in the box. Going to go in the box and pull out this one. This is a little one. Let's see. What does this say? How does this relate? How in the world does this relate? This little teeny piece of paper that I dug through. Lack of attention to detail results in mass confusion. Lack of attention to detail results in mass confusion. That means that if you have that still small voice, that little teeny voice, the Bible speaks of it, the still small voice that resonates within you. You hear that? It's a still. It's still. It's still. It ain't moving. It's small. It's little teeny voice. It's smaller than that. And it's a voice. It's a literal voice. It's not a symbol. It's not a sign. It's not a omen. It's not a dream or a fantasy. It's a voice. It's a literal voice. Let's see what voice is. So we got 6 and 15, 20. Where's that voice coming from? Mother, father, child, God. That's the heart, a voice. Wonder how that turned out to be like that. And then 22 and 25. Release. Release the hold you have on yourself so that you can hear this voice. Hear. 8, 5, 1, 9. What we got? 17 and 6. 23. Move from your position. Move from your position that you think you know. You think you've got to know who was on the phone, who was at the door, what was in the mail, who went where, who did what, who said what. I love that. How is Johnny doing? You ask somebody. Okay, Bobby says, I don't know how Johnny's doing. Ask. Who did I just ask? I forgot. What did I say? You ask somebody how Johnny is doing. Maybe you ask Bill that. And Bill says, I don't know how Johnny's doing. You ask Johnny. My point is, don't spend your time asking ridiculous questions. That would be like me sitting here and somebody just shot me in the heart with an arrow. And you come over here to rescue me, and I say, don't touch that arrow. I got to know who shot it. Who shot that arrow? What kind of arrow was it? Where did he buy it from? Well, who was with him when he bought it? What did he have on when he bought it? What day did he get it? I'm asking all of these ridiculous questions while I'm dying. It doesn't matter who shot the arrow or where he got it from or any of those things. Just pull the arrow out. My point is, stop with your mealy mouth convictions and all of that senseless gossip and carrying on. Lack of attention to details results in mass confusion. If you don't start paying attention, I was going to do that too. How about that? I thought about that about 2 minutes ago, about paying attention. And then I pulled it. Lack of attention to detail results in mass confusion. If you don't start, you don't have to do this. I'm talking to me. I'm on the show because I enjoy talking aloud and hearing myself talk. But if Paula don't start paying attention to these little teeny details of when they occur, when they pop up, and when something happens and I want so much to comment upon it, shut up. When you want to comment upon it, shut up. If you're not facing the person who you want to know how something's going on in his or her life, but you're not facing that person, don't say anything. Don't ask somebody else. Don't be a news toter, and don't call someone else to be either. My grandmother used to say that. Used to say the worst possible trait in a human being was news toting. Lack of attention to detail results in mass confusion. Mass confusion. So you want to know why you're so confused and your life is all tangled up and you don't know what you're doing or, what in the world's going on and how come things don't seem to work